Good morning, students. Myself, Dr. Mrs. Damini Motwani, Assistant Professor, Department of Biochemistry, Dada Ramchand Bakru, Sindhu Mahavidyalaya, Pachpavli, Nagpur. Today I am going to talk on the topic bacterial growth curve. So, what is bacterial growth curve? We obtain a bacterial growth curve by plotting number of living cells versus time. This bacterial growth curve, it has four major phases: lag phase, log phase, which is also known as exponential growth phase, stationary phase, death phase, or which is also known as logarithmic decline phase. So in this figure you can see all four phases of the bacterial growth curve: lag phase, log phase, stationary phase, and the death phase. And these four phases are obtained by plotting time on x-axis and log of number of cells on y-axis. Now, this is again another figure in which not four but basically six phases are being elaborated. You can see that the phase number B and the phase number D are added extra. B is acceleration phase and D is the declaration phase. So, you can see the A phase, which is known as lag phase, B phase acceleration phase, C phase log phase, D phase declaration phase, E phase stationary phase, and the F phase is the death phase. So x-axis represent log of number of living cells and y-axis represents the period of time. So we will see the characteristics of each and every phase in detail. What happens to the bacteria in each and every phase? So, out of the four phases, the first phase A and B, that is lag phase, bacteria become acclimatized to the new environmental conditions such as pH, temperature, nutrients, etc. Enzymes and intermediates are formed and accumulated until they are present in the concentration that permit their growth. So in this phase what happened? An increase in the bacterial mass per unit volume, but there is no increase in the cell count. Though the bacteria increases in size, but the copy number does not increases and they only acclimatize to the new environment. The metabolism of bacteria adapt to the condition of the nutrient medium. So coming to the next phase, which is known as exponential phase or log phase. Conditions are optimum for the growth. Now the bacteria has acclimatized to themselves to the new environment, and in this phase there will be a maximum growth rate. The living bacterial population increases rapidly with time at an exponential growth in number, and the growth rate increases with the time. The bacteria are suitable for biochemical and morphological identification. The bacteria are suitable to use for drug sensitivity test. So the next phase is, you can see the next phase is the log phase. Log phase we have seen. The next phase is the exponential phase. The third phase is, you can see, the stationary phase. With the exhaustion of nutrients and accumulation of metabolic waste, the growth rate has slowed to a point where the growth rate equals to the death rate. Effectively, there is no net growth in the living bacterial population. So, in the stationary phase, there is a balance between the growth rate and the death rate. The next phase is the decline phase. In this phase, what happened? There is an increase in the growth rate and a decrease. There is a decrease in the growth rate and increase in the death rate. So you can say that there is a negative growth rate in this phase. The living bacterial population increases with time due to lack of nutrients and toxic metabolite byproducts. In many cases, but not always, the bacteria autolyse during the death phase and the turbidity increases. So this is an overview of all the phases of the bacterial growth curve. In A phase, which is known as lag phase, the growth rate is 0. In B phase, which is known as acceleration phase, the growth rate increases. The C phase, which is log phase or exponential phase, there is a constant increase in the growth rate. The D phase, which is retardation phase, the growth rate started decreasing. The maximum stationary phase, the growth rate is 0. because there is a balance between the growth rate and the death rate. And the last phase, which is the decline phase, there is a negative growth rate, because in this there is an increase in death number as compared to the growth rate. So this is an overview of all the four phases of the growth curve. It is very important from exam point of view also. So students, thank you.